Mr. Danielson will be filming us today. So thank you for being here, Bruce.
Folks, anybody else want to engage the council? Welcome.
Hello, my name is Alexa Giebink. I'm here to read a letter written by my uncle, Robert Giebink, who could not be here today. My name is Robert W. Giebink. I am a physician here in town. I am writing you concerning the Glory House and the Minnehaha Ice and Rec property. My father, Robert R. Giebink, now deceased, was also a physician who practiced in Sioux Falls for many years. He was civic-minded and a philanthropist. He served in the state legislature so he could further the cause of establishing a 4-year medical school and increasing funding for the developmentally disabled. At one time, he owned 40 acres located north and east of the intersection of Interstate 229 and Western Avenue. He donated the land for the Glory House and Minnehaha Ice and Rec. He donated the land for what was then Sioux Vocational School for the Handicapped, now part of Lifescape. He served on the boards of all three. He led fundraising efforts. He donated the land for the Juvenile Detention Center. He jokingly said he did it so my 2 younger brothers and I would have a place to go. We were minors at the time. I work with people who have mental illness and addictions. Sadly, many of these people find their way into our jails and prisons. I have had several who received services through the Glory House. I know how difficult it is for this population to find housing and good jobs. I know how important it is for them to have a good support system. I can see no better use for the Minnehaha Ice and Rec property than to build housing for Glory House residents who are ready to take the next step and begin living independently. I know the cost of recidivism to the city, this county, and the state. It takes a human toll too. I believe donating the property and investing in the housing will result in savings to the taxpayer that will continue far into the future and far exceed any amount the city could receive from selling this property. I know what the statistics show, and I can see no better way of honoring the memory of my father, who would have spoken strongly in favor of this decision if he was alive today. He would agree when I say we must consider the lives of all people first. And in addition to my uncle's words, I would like to add a few of my own. My mom is a recovering alcoholic, and she has been sober for 7 years. 7 years ago, she spent 5 months in prison as a result of her alcoholism, and she was lucky when she was released. She had a home to go to, she had a supportive family, and she had an environment that allowed her to recover and regain her life. And I believe that building a more long-term facility at the Ice and Rec property will help other people get that opportunity to recover. Thank you.
Alexa, thank you as well. Folks, anybody else? Welcome.
Hi. My name is Joan Giebink. I'm Doc Giebink's daughter. My dad is the man who donated the land, aided and supported the fundraising, and served on the boards of many of the nonprofits on 51st Street. First, I want to talk about a couple of misconceptions that the public may have about this proposal of the city to gift the ice rink to Glory House. First, the city only paid $1 for the ice rink back in the 90s, late 90s. Originally, the city was also to pay Sioux Falls Youth Hockey and possibly others as well an additional $100,000 for 5 years of lost revenue from the rink in advertising, signage, and concessions that they would no longer receive once the city owned the rink. So, like I said, they essentially got it for $1. It actually turned out to be less than that, and that money is held in trust at the Sioux Falls Community Foundation, which distributes the income yearly to the organization's youth hockey to pay for ice time at the new Shields Ice. The second point I want to make is I don't believe the ice rink land has any extra value because it lies on the future 49th Street expansion. I've always been told there will be no on-off access on 49th Street on that stretch. That means any new owner would still have to use 51st Street to access the property, thus not actually raising the value of the land once 49th Street goes through. Now I'd like to tell you about my dad's relationship with the Glory House and the ice rink. His relationship with Roger Fredrickson and the Glory House began when both of our families grew up together near Park Ridge in the 50s and 60s. We also attended Roger's church. Later, when Roger came to Dad about his land on 51st, Dad gladly donated the land for a much expanded Glory House. He also helped with fundraising and served on the board for years. He was a firm believer in second chances for everyone, and that's the mission of the Glory House, second chances. Now about the MIRC, which is what I will always call it because my kids played hockey there, was owned by the nonprofit Minnehaha Ice and Rec Center. What a great group of guys they were, mostly gone now. They were so eager for indoor year-round ice, they even mortgaged their homes to help pay for the building. Remember, these are the guys that got $1 from the city for the property. I was told they met with my dad for breakfast sometime in the mid-70s, hoping to find a sympathetic ear and maybe get a piece of land at a reduced price. After eating and chatting, one member came out bluntly and asked him if he would donate land for the indoor ice rink for youth hockey and figure skating. He immediately said yes, since he also believes kids kept busy in sports get into less trouble. The more sports, less trouble. So the MIRC got the land for free. So my dad donated land and money and time to the Glory House and the MIRC and a number of other Sioux Falls civic and charitable organizations. He did this because he believed that he could improve our community and the lives of our citizens. That's why giving the ice rink to Glory House is something that my entire family supports, because it pays forward the wonderful gift my dad made 40 years ago and would benefit the city for years to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Joan. Welcome.
Good evening. My name is Regan Meyer. I'm the granddaughter of Dr. Robert R. Giebink, as well as the daughter of the woman who just spoke and the cousin of the woman who spoke before her. The degree of a civilization in a society can be judged by entering its prisons. Dostoevsky said that after he spent a little time on the inside. We in America, however, know too well that the chains that men and women wear when incarcerated extend far past their release date. These tangible shackles soon transform into the more permanent irons of stigma, shame, and isolation. Their subsequent re-entry into society is made all the more difficult with the lack of social programs at their disposal. As the country with the highest percentage of incarcerated individuals, I believe it is our civic duty to assist them if and when they re-enter society. Their time spent behind bars does not make them any less of a citizen, nor does it strip them of their basic rights as a human being. Unfortunately, in Sioux Falls, we have certain laws that allow that stigma and shame to permeate into residential housing. I understand that it is the right of an individual seller or landlord to refuse housing to an individual with a criminal background. But as a result, we are now facing a critical dilemma. Many of the shelters in Sioux Falls are overcrowded with former convicts, and those who seek to make amends and provide for their families are found wanting. It's a sad day when a city is incapable of providing for its citizens' basic fundamental needs. Needs that, when met, can lead to a decrease in recidivism rates. At last estimation, South Dakota's recidivism rate hovers right around 45%. A few local government officials have said that the face value of the land housing the Minnehaha Ice and Rec Center, or MIRC, is too great of an opportunity to pass up, when in reality, the possible profit is fractional in comparison to the ongoing costs of recently completed city projects or the grandiose building plans of the near future. It is my opinion that a marginal one-time profit for a city should not supersede the long-term benefits of its citizens. Regardless of individual opinions, formerly incarcerated individuals are our fellow citizens. They are part of our community. They, like all of us, have something to contribute, and you all, the City Council and Mayor Huether, as public servants should want your citizens to live and work to their fullest potential. I think it's time all of us stop searching for the get money quick scheme and start investing in people, because the lifespan of human capital far exceeds that of monetary gain. The MIRC is where I learned to skate, where my grandfather, Dr. Robert R. Giebink, watched me play hockey. I used to wave at him through the plexiglass. He'd smile and chuckle to himself. No one knew that it was his doing that allowed such a recreation center to be built. It was his land donation and lifelong friendship with Roger Frederickson that enabled the construction of the Glory House. And you know what? He never sought recognition or glory. There was no parade or party in his honor, and he refused to have his names on the buildings. That's the kind of man he was: quiet, selfless, and eternally modest. He believed in the goodness of people and in their capacity to strengthen one another. If this land can honor his philanthropic legacy and help aid in the rehabilitation of the citizens of Sioux Falls, then it would be a moral travesty to stop it. Thank you.
Ms. Meyer, thank you. Folks, anybody else want to engage the council? Well, thank you very much. We appreciate your comments. Item number 5.
First reading.
Could you put your cookies down, please? Security, escort this gentleman out, please.
Come on, Soda Pop, let's go.